After the release of the 14.16b patch, the meta hasn't changed much, but key carries like Ahri and Fiora have taken some hits. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into one of the dominant comps in the current meta, the Portal comp. Despite a minor nerf to the 3 Portal synergy, it mainly affects the early game, where you can explore alternative strategies. Consider this your comprehensive guide to mastering the Portal comp, from basic principles to advanced strategies that will help you secure consistent top 4 finishes, or even a first place victory. Let's start with the ideal level 8 board. If you have a Portal emblem, give it to Nami to form an 8 Portal and 3 Mage synergy. If you don't have the emblem but have Nora, just go for the 8 Portal. If you don't have either the emblem or Nora, focus on upgrading units that synergize well with the portal and build around 6 portals. With Nasus and Shen, you can form a 2 Bastion setup along with Pyro and Shapeshifter. With 6 portals, you can also form a 3 Mage and 2 Bastion synergy by adding Vex and Nami. Also, with 6 portals, you can use Hecarim and Tahm Kench to get 2 Vanguard and Arcana. You can even replace Hecarim with Xerath if needed. Now, let's look at the early game openers during stages 1 to 3. We have a few options here. The easiest build-up is to start with a 3 Portal base. Though 3 Portal has been nerfed a bit, it doesn't matter much now. Focus on units that you've already upgraded. This will increase their carry potential as you build up. You can use Jace or Elise as the frontline tank, activating the Shapeshifter trait, with Zoe and Galio receiving the 3 Portal buff. Equip items like Ginsa's Rageblade and Archangel's Staff on Zoe or Elise. If Galio is upgraded as a frontline tank, support him with Blitzcrank to activate Vanguards, and Zoe will be the sole backline. Ginsu's, Archangels, and other AP items can go on Kassadin or Zoe. At level 5, add Ahri or Bard to increase Scholar synergy and boost damage. For level 6, pair Ahri with Hecarim and Poppy for a mix of Arcana, Bastion, and Witchcraft. For level 7, if you're lacking damage, consider adding 3 Multi-Striker. Alternatively, you can use 2 Vanguard and 3 Arcana with Hecarim and Tahm Kench as the frontline. If Tahm Kench doesn't show up, you can use Rumble for healing reduction and to support the Vanguard frontline. Moving on to our next opener with 3 Multi-Striker as the base. If you start with Kassadin and get Multi-Striker units early, aim for 3 Multi-Striker and 2 Chrono by adding Xylian. Equip Kassadin with AP items like Ginsu's and Archangels. At level 5, you can use Akali and Hecarim instead of Xylian for 5 Multi-Striker, or you can add Galio and Zoe for 3 Portal and 3 Multi-Striker. At level 6, replace Jax with Hecarim and add Poppy to get Vanguard and Witchcraft synergy. At level 7, you can use Xylian for Chrono and additional crowd control. Lastly, let's see another opener choice with Lilia, Poppy, and Zoe. You can also counter people playing this popular comp by using those units. At level 5, add Hecarim for 2 Bastions. At level 6, add another Bastion unit such as Shin or Nunu for 4 Bastions. At level 7, if you get lucky with Taric, swap him for Lilia and add Kassadin to establish a 3 Portal core. If you don't have Poppy, use Nico instead. For the frontline, use Jace and Kassadin to get Portal and Shapeshifter synergy. Now let's move to the itemization strategy. The items that are generally good to prioritize include Ginsa's Rageblade, Morlanomicon, Red Buff, and defensive items like Gargoyle Stoneplate. Later, depending on the items and augments, you can go for AP damage items. If you have a lot of rods, Deathcap is a good choice. But since you can also make items like Archangels and Ginsus with rods, it's better to keep your options open unless you have 2 rods. For defensive items, go for Warmog's Armor and Gargoyle Stoneplate on Taric. If the enemy team has a lot of AD, go for Bramble Vest, and if they have a lot of AP, go for Dragon's Claw. These are other ideal item preferences for our units. Let's move to the augments. Some good augments when playing portals include Little Buddies and Portal Crest. If your early game economy is struggling, go for econ augments. Otherwise, try out item-based augments. According to statistics, the best gold augments are Little Buddies, Combat Caster, Spellblades, All That Shimmers, and Support Golem. For silver augments, Pandora's Bench and Pandora's items are good choices. As for prismatic augments, Support Golem is the best. Now that you know the comp, the opener, necessary items, and good augments, let's talk about the gameplay strategy. Keep in mind that the tempo and strategy might vary depending on the portal and situation. In round 2, if you think it's difficult to maintain a win streak, don't push too hard. Keep your health in check after the carousel. If you think you can maintain a win streak from the beginning, spend gold and equip items to maintain your health until 2 to 5. For augments, prioritize portal augments, followed by economy and combat augments. For items, prioritize spatula and rod, followed by belt, bow, cloak, and others. Gameplay strategy stage 3. At round 3 to 2, level up to 6, equip items, and maintain health. If you have a lot of gold, level up to 7 at 3 to 5 and aim for Lucky Tarek and Rise. If you've saved up gold, go for combat augments, and if you already have combat augments, go for economy augments. When choosing items at the carousel, prioritize those that can be used immediately. Gameplay strategy stage 4. At round 4 to 2, level up to 8. Look for Rise, and try to complete the 6 portal comp mentioned earlier. If you don't find Nora, it will be difficult to beat reroll comps, so it's important to manage your health in the second and third rounds. If the portal synergy is highly contested, consider rerolling earlier than others to secure units, and be prepared to go all in at level 8. From round 4 onwards, it's crucial to win each round, so scout your opponents and roll 2 or 3 times to find your core units. If you naturally find pairs of Rise and Tarek, roll down at 4 to 5 to upgrade at least one of them and look for further upgrades. Gameplay strategy stage 5. After stage 5, if you move to level 9, try to add units that strengthen our comp. So what are the best portals for this comp? Some portals that are good for playing this comp include Gold Subscription, Treasure Armory, and Support Golem. With portals like Spatula, look for crafting portal emblems. Other portals like Champion Duplicator and Champion Delivery also suit this comp. Some bad portals for this comp include Artifact Anvil and Completed Anvil, which alter our ideal item choices. Next, let's see about charms. As for charms, adapt to the situation and use whatever comes up. The best ones to remember include Conjure Spatula, the Count, all 5s, and all 4s. Most of the time, combat charms are good from the mid-game onwards. Let's move to the most important part that separates you from an average player, which is positioning. Place Tarek in the center so that he can soak up damage. Since Rise targets the nearest enemy with his skill, position him close to the enemy backline to quickly damage their carry. Although Nami casts a large area of effect skill, it's best to position her diagonally from the enemy carry. If Galio is in the front row, his skill range can target the enemy backline, so place him in the second or third row on the side to avoid being the primary target while allowing Rise to melt the front line. Since units like Briar, Diana, Shyvana, and Nami tend to clump up, keep Rise's surrounding 2 tiles empty to avoid getting caught in that area of attacks. Tom Kench uses his skill on the furthest target within 4 tiles, so consider his skill range when adjusting Rise's positioning or baiting with other units like Zoe. When facing units like Fiora, Gwen, or Katarina, avoid positioning Rise directly in front of them to prevent them from diving onto him with their skills. Remember, no 2 games are the same. Stay flexible and adjust your items and units based on what you find. That brings us to the end of this video. What do you find interesting in this comp? Try it out and drop your thoughts in the comments. For more interesting and informative content, subscribe to our channel, Itemswap.